Welcome to Smoke Signals, everyone. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with head football coach Jason Holman. Jacksonville, a tough one last week at home. Coach, the Crandall came in heavy favorites, and your team played a heck of a ball game. Your overall impressions?
Well, obviously we're very, very pleased with the effort, particularly in the second half. To be down like we were, which we kind of put ourselves in a hole to start the game, and we've got to rectify that. But to be down like we were and to fight back and to be in a position to win it, and really came down to them having to run the clock out for us, not to get possession and try to win the game. I was very proud of our effort.
You took a couple of steps back against White House in week 2, and then you took 2 steps forward last week. I know you didn't get the win, but this is a good Crandall football team. I mean, they had the Oklahoma committed linebacker. They had 2 solid running backs, a good quarterback. There was a point where you are about to go down 35-7, and the big turnaround when you got that score to end the half to make it 28-14, it's kind of like the light bulb went off or something.
Yeah, like I said, we dug ourselves a hole early. But, yeah, the score right before the half was huge. We talked about it at halftime. At this point forward, it's just let's do what we got to do. We knew we were receiving the ball the second half. Let's do what we got to do to work our way back into the football game, focus on one play at a time, and just execution and fight back and let's get in it. And we were able to do that. That was a good sign.
Yeah, when you come out in the second half, and that's why you defer sometimes, and you had that momentum after scoring at the end of the first half, and 10 unanswered points, including the field goal by Jesus Nunez. And then you just kept hanging around and had a chance to win it. You got to feel good about not just the effort, Coach, but there was a lot of execution, which we'll see here in a moment on some of the highlights where some of the players really stepped it up.
Yeah, we felt the energy rise. We felt the mojo kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, really for the longest span of time that we've had it this year, you could see in the kids' eyes we really believed we were going to be able to fight back and get the win, and it hurt not to do so, but it was great to see that spark. And I told the team before the football games, we still at this point we really don't know who we are. Let's find out who we are, and we found out a little bit about ourselves on Friday night for sure.
Last thing before we go to the highlights, what I noticed was the hurt look after the ball game by not getting the win. I didn't see that look after the White House game.
Right.
It's kind of like the kids just kind of turned the corner there as far as feeling that disappointment of not winning the game.
Well, I think that, like I said, they felt like we had it and it was within our grasp, and we just fell short. So, yeah, it hurts, and it should. Every loss should hurt to some degree, certainly, but to be that close and be within position and just have that feeling that you can do this and then have it taken away from you is, always painful to deal with. But, it's just something we got to get over.
Well, there's certainly a lot of highlights in the ball game. Let's take a look at those, Jacksonville and Crandall. Here's McCown to Taylor.
Good throw, good catch, good route. Got able to get into the end zone there.
Coach, coming up on the Wildcat right here with Devin taking this is really starting to be a weapon for you on this formation.
Yeah, it's something, we're able to add as the season goes on, add to it. And, of course, Devin can do some good things, magical things with the ball in his hand.
And how about the senior, Joellen Kennedy, on this 31-yard run coming up right here? I mean, he really is starting to become a force running the ball.
Good to see him kicking into high gear, good patience, waiting on the cut, and then kicking into high gear and, end up with a good 30-plus yard gain.
And this is probably the most beautiful pass of the game right here, just a dime.
I thought Ryan McCown really had his best game of the year. Threw a great pass right there. Did a lot better job of keeping his vision down the field and making good throws.
Well, let's get the defense involved here. This is a huge 4th and 1 stop, Dominique and Coda.
Yeah, this is something we've talked about all year long. It's the first time we've really been able to do it in this particular situation, but it was a great play by the defense.
Coach Jesus is starting to become a weapon for you, 34-yarder.
Did a great job of swinging through and kicking it for 34.
It was a big interception by Cash Bearden.
It had been tested early, and we were on the back end of that a few times. I was very proud of Cash coming back and being able to make a big play like that.
Coach, how about this catch by Ryan Walker?
How he picked that off the ground, I don't know. He did a great job of scooping it up, and then, hard run to end up gaining 15 yards.
Here's that Wildcat again. It's Jermaine's turn.
Yeah, good read by Jermaine on the cut, not just taking to the sideline, but seeing the hole and getting vertical and getting in.
This was our congratulations play of the game, Jaden Boyd from 2 yards out of the beast.
This is our beast package. This is something the kids have fun with. We'll put in an extra lineman and do some different things. It's been good to us.
Coach, as we look at the statistics, statistics don't always tell the story, but, man, you had more passing yards. Barely. They were up by 4. But more rushing yards. You ran the ball well. Total yardage. Look at the time of possession. You really switched that and flipped that script from the previous 2 ball games.
Yeah, the first thing that jumps out to me there, Crandall was very good on paper running the football. And to hold him 115 yards on the ground, 4 quarters, that's credit to our defense and the way they played. If we'd have shored some things up in the passing end, we'd have been even better statistically. And obviously, moving the football, converting third downs, being able to hang on to it, things of that nature are big too. That's why we had such a big lapse in the time of possession. So it was good to see the 27 first downs opposed to their 17. I mean, we're doing some good things, but then there's that bottom little category that's kind of been our nemesis to this point. We had 2 turnovers to their 1 of which turned into a touchdown for them. And, that's what we got to eliminate.
Yeah, you're -6 on turnovers for the year so far, so that's a big deal. So, Coach, now you go back on the road. It's Pine Tree. 2 teams still looking for their first win. Pine Tree at 0-3, Jacksonville at 0-3. Talk about the Pirates and what they've been facing. They're only averaging, I think, as the screen shows, 15 points a game. They're struggling a little bit under a new head coach, and so talk about what Pine Tree does.
They've struggled. They've got 2 different quarterbacks that they've repped, and I kind of think the starter, who was a senior, got hurt after game 2. And started a sophomore last week who came in and did a pretty good job throwing the ball against Kilgore. But they've kind of been kind of like us to a degree. You don't really know, hadn't really settled in anything offensively. They've been in a tight end set. They've been in some H-back set, kind of flip-flop back and forth. So we're just preparing for everything that we know that they can do, and hope to be ready for that on Friday night.
Isn't that what happens when you have a new coaching staff come in? It takes a few games to find your identity.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does. It takes a few games, and then it takes reevaluating personnel and making switches. Oftentimes you can switch one person here and there, and get that right combination that you're looking for.
So does Pine Tree? You mentioned the quarterback situation. So do they throw the ball more? Or do they try to run the ball more?
I think they favor run. They're about 60-40 run pass. Got 2 good tailbacks that'll put their head down and gain yards on you. We've got one real good receiver, particularly that stands out. Number 1 that they'll take some shots with him down the field. Defensively, they've got a really good defensive end. That's a college prospect.
Yeah, he's D1 kid for sure.
Division 1 prospect, and he's tough. We're going to have to deal with him. They run a lot of fronts, multiple fronts defensively, jump in and out of things. So, we've got to be on point and make sure that we understand what they're in and how to block them and things of that nature. But I think the formula is the same for us. I think we've got to be able to run the football.
Yeah.
And everything else sets up from that. So if we can have some of the same success running the ball that we did last Friday night, I really like our chances.
Of course, they played a good Kilgore team and played them 20-14. That kind of got my attention a little bit. That maybe they're kind of having their turn the corner moment like Jacksonville did last week.
Yeah, I think the big push. Some of the kinks starting to get worked out by game 3. The big push, obviously, now is to win. Try to go into district play with that win. Notch that win on your back and bring momentum into the district. So it's a big game.
Coach, keys to the game for Jacksonville to get the win.
Well, obviously, like you've been saying, we're -6, so take care of the football. We need to take the ball away from them. We need to protect the ball on our side. And, I think if we'll play sound defense and prevent them from getting over the top of us in the secondary and, handle the run and put a combination of running game, complementing the passing game, I think we'll be in great shape.
Coach, last thing, did you get a feel in practice this week after last week's performance that you can say to the kids, you see how this works, you see how it's clicking, this is what we've been talking about, and did you see that the light bulb go off like we've talked about?
Well, practice has been a little bit slower this week. I think we had a little bit of the wind let out of our sails, but we've got the kids understand that, and we certainly made that point. We watched film on Saturday, how close we are, and we're right there on the cusp of being who we think we can be. And it's just those little mistakes throughout the football game that we've got to shore up, and if we can eliminate those and play good, clean, complimentary football, which is what we did the second half last week against Crandall. We played for the first time this year, played some pretty decent complimentary football where we'd get a stop defensively, we'd move the ball and score offensively, and that's the whole key. And we got to complement each other and not let the game run away from us.
Jacksonville versus Pine Tree on the road at Pirate Stadium this Friday night. Kickoff coming up at 7:30. We'll be live streaming on JHS-sports.com starting at 6:45. For head coach Jason Holman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signals.